as well. So hello guys, Austeris here. If you're watching that on YouTube, that is. It's Supreme Intelligence channel, by the way. We're here to discuss Witch Hunter, Blood of Dreeg, Evil Eye of Dreeg, Poison Acid build, and how it's performed in a wild, actually. First and foremost, the build done very well in a wild. It's done very well. We killed all the Celestials, Mogadran, Caligadra, Ravager. We killed 2 bosses, John Bourbon and Lokar with him. I tried just my hand in Crate boss, Creative Entertainment. No luck with that. No luck with that. Too low defensive ability and just getting destroyed. Can't consistently basically kill the guy. Also fighting all the Celestials, which name it, it's require a little bit of kiting, quite a bit of kiting, around 10 minutes or so. So we also can't face tank it. It is like you see my offensive ability kinda high here for the build, but defensive ability in that case also low. It is resulted in some unfortunate deaths here and there, so I wouldn't recommend it going with this kind of build for hardcore for sure. It is a matter of player skills, I would say. The build have a good survivability in terms of attack damage converted to health. Dreeg Evil Eye attack damage converted to health. So I can face tank most of the things, but still there's some bosses, like we did got killed by the Father Camelin when we tried to face tank him, and we got killed in some boss in Skeleton Dungeon, also trying to face tanking. So it's all about keeping proper range, proper distance, the build. So the main skill is a Dreeg Evil Eye, we channeling it. It's dealing quite a bit of damage here. With all the buffs, it's 171 DPS with 67k damage per hit, but also poison. So we have 40k per hit acid and 26 poison per second with this, basically, per second. It's just 26k. The poison with my high offensive ability, critting quite well, and a lot of bosses just died from poison overall. So we don't need to care about hitting them continuously. Hit like once in 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and you got it. We had a Curse of Frailty here for this build for reduction enemy acid and poison resistance. We have a Pneumatic Burst for heal, Blood of Dreeg for heal, and well, subsequently getting that offensive defensive ability for both of them. Panic Baton, Blade Barrier. Well, it's not very helpful because if you die, you're dead, but it's helpful nonetheless. So let's check out those skills. Most of the skill points for my for build went into Occultist. Blood of Dreeg, hard carped here, poison damage, Blood Burst, main hand, acid poison damage, terrifying gaze, vitality damage. We have the items that convert vitality damage into poison damage, so this is all into acid damage, sorry. This is also will be, we're gonna check the items a little bit later. All will be acid damage here. There's another acid and vitality. So yeah, Curse of Frailty with vulnerability minus 28 poison resistance. Getting aspect of the Guardian here for some physical resistance. Alright, offensive ability and Blood of Dreeg, like I mentioned, and also some damage absorption. Another layer of survivability, 20% from possession that we have here. Nightblade, in the meantime, Demotic Burst, max it out, Shadow Dance for defensive ability, for the chance to avoid projectile melee attacks. Helping sometimes, but not helpful enough against Creative Entertainment for sure. Night Shield, a Veil of Shadow, minus offensive ability for enemies, so that's another layer of your defense. But more importantly, Night Shield minus poison acid resistance additional here, so that's where's the damage coming from. It's working in combination with vulnerability there. And there's Merciless Repertoire. I have a question to this skill. It's probably would be even better to remove it and put some points into Nightblade 3 for some more stats, more offensive, more defensive. Again, not enough defensive offensive for actually facing the creative entertainment, but just enough to do everything else. Alright. Devotion points, we went quite a bit into offensive here as well. I didn't put any like points into, for example, lion as they usually do, for some defensive options, for a turtle, for the damage absorption shield. It's all the start for the build is easy. It was like Scorpion into Manticore. Yeah, Scorpion. I think there was something red as well. A Scorpion gave you Eldritch. Then I took a Rat. What I took else for forgetting Manticore. So Manticore was one of the first constellation we grab here. I think we just get a Jackal. Is it? It's require 4 infinity. So we got Scorpion and we got a Jackal here for 3, and we put like one into Crossroads. It's just got enough myself in Chaos to get a Manticore. A Manticore has another resistance reduction shenanigans. He has 28 resistance reduction for 5 seconds. We put it this one on the Blood of Evil Eye of Dreeg, and it's broken very, very often. Have a Spider just to feel some Eldritch here. Same as with Avenge here. It's actually giving a little bit of acid damage. So that's all Chaos and Eldritch, so we can get Yoggle. Couple of points of Yoggle for another acid. And we have some offensive ability over here, 5% with the torch. And we have some offensive here and bunch of acid and poison damage on Abomination. We also had a Lantern. This build had a problem with energy regeneration up until like last point, last couple of days, and Lantern was doing helping with some energy regeneration, some speed, right? Well, it's also have total damage as well, so it was useful. We had Affliction here again for a little bit of offensive ability, a little bit of poison acid damage. And that's basically, I would say, like all the constellation we have here. See, no much of a defensive constellations, all aggro. Well, there's also the Eye of the Guardian, which we had the Gaze of the Guardian. Because how I played this build, we started this build directly on ultimate difficulty. I struggled a lot at the beginning with it. We died quite a few times for some Clown Fiesta situation, aggroing the monsters I supposed not to aggro, or fighting the fights when I don't even have like some resistances to. And I was quite struggling starting ultimate difficulty. But the Guardian Gaze, it was the first constellation that gave me that quite a bit of survivability with this attack damage converted to health from all this Guardian Gaze circling you, all those Dreeg Evil Eyes. That was my first survivability. Later on we got the items we got all the items actually on level 100 because how I played the build again, I went directly to ultimate difficulty, and the items we need there for some health, switches, like this Basilisk Fang over here, 8% of attack damage converted to health on Dreeg Evil Eye, and it's only dropping in Ashes of Malmoth. It was way late into the game when I got it. Alright. So yeah, what we have here for the items. For the items, First of all, Crimson's scepter. You can get it from Sister Crimson in Ashes of in Forgotten Gods DLC. This is flat damage to Dreeg Evil Eye, poison and acid flat damage. We don't have a good affixes on it, but like casting speed, which is more or less good affix. You probably want something like corrosion affix, with maybe celerity if you get that casting speed, but maybe stalwart for more defensive options. Aggressive could be also good for offensive options if you want, but I think build as itself already get quite a bit of offensive ability from Constellation and from 3 pieces of set I have. But yeah, like corrosion is a good affix for this build, giving you a little bit more of acid poison damage there. So this is first key item. Second key item is a Leaf Mane Horn. Also, we don't have a good affixes. It is have a aggressive affix, however. Well, like of corrosion. Could be better. But this one is giving you, first of all, another poison damage to Dreeg Evil Eye, and second of all, it's converted that vitality damage to acid damage. Which is like exactly what we need here. And third item we need for this build, it's the Basilisk's Fang. Again, this is adding tons of survivability, because now your attack damage converted to health, and it is has on it. Also don't have a good affixes on it, but it's probably was the hardest way, the hardest pieces to get. Well, in Leaf Mane also was hard to get. It is dropping a support from Basilisk, and this is dropping from Leaf Mane in Ashes of Melmoths, but it's so scarce that I took, I don't know, 2 hours or something farming to only get 1 Leaf Horn. Probably the best chance for you is to get inside the Mogdren Groove, right, after the Covenant, and there's a vendor in Skeleton Key Dungeon who's selling Monster and Frequent, and he's selling, could sell this Basilisk's Fangs and could house this Leaf Mane. That's where you get it. For Relic, we're using here Dreeg Affliction, +1 to Occultist, a little bit of acid damage and stuff. For Belt, also crafted Reviving Griddle Belt, +1 to Occultist. Right. And to the next gear, I didn't, this build have so much problem, because we were playing as a self-found as well. It has so much problem with the rings. I only got rings after level 100, and I was like running some level 50 rings. There are some purple rings for this build, so maybe could be better than these blue rings we're using it. But yeah, this is also giving me quite a bit of Dreeg Evil Eye, some acid, so Band of the Black Eyes, some offensive ability, 19, pretty big, and Mystical Ring of Wild Intent, poison acid damage, and a lot of skill points to Blood Burst, Terrifying Gaze, and the Merciless Repertoire. So all of this like improving my acid damage. Blood Burst we also had a hard capped here, and it's 45% of main damage converted to so damage from main hand weapon. It is not that big. It's only 37, 100. Alright, it's not that big. So this build not utilizing your weapon of flat damage you having that much, because this is only the way you get in this flat damage in the Blood Burst, 45% on that matter. Next my vestment. It is we use the investment of the Great Guardian, +4 Dreeg Evil Eye, and giving you aura of the Water of Dreeg, which is another chaos resistance and more poison retaliation, poison damage with increased duration. We have that solid trusses, yeah, we get it, but they providing good armor value, they providing good survivability in terms of health. Right, and more acid damage, surprisingly. And the gloves could be better, but we're using the handguards of Perdition, which is more poison damage and some offensive ability and some health, right? Okay, the boots stone shredders, giving me that 8k damage absorption against physical and piercing damage, which is my build kinda kinda weak too with any build. Lastly, three pieces of set we have here. Rod Case Mask, increasing the radius of your initial Dreeg's Evil Eye attack. So by the default, Dreeg Evil Eye is a single target attack, but you increasing it while picking up other skills, sub skills to it. You make it like area attack. But now it's like it is actually this one getting making the default Dreeg of Evil Eye, well, more or less area attack. Plus 1 to Occultist, we have set bonuses, which is giving you a note of offensive ability here. Necklace, it's another one, good for survivability. You only get in level like what 94, but it's 15 attack damage converted to health. It's giving you some vitality damage to Blood of Dreeg, but you converted that vitality damage immediately into acid damage, so it doesn't really matter. It's actually, I mean, it's actually beneficial to you. Right, and lastly, the parts for to complete this the 3 pieces of the set. I didn't want to go for 4 pieces. I'm pretty content with the 4th piece is breastplate, but pretty content with my breastplate we have here. Right, so we can see we have 86 acid resistance, we have 84 chaos resistance, some slightly over maximum, some resistances. We did play it with some powders on my gear to fight specific elites, specific celestials. But let's see what we have for a defensive option. For we have what components we have on the gear. First of all, Blooded Crystal. Blooded Crystal, 4 of them on all my jewelry. This is giving you so much of defensive ability. 40 defensive ability, 75 armor. We have 100% armor absorption. This is our armor values here. And armor absorption coming from this 2 pieces of living armor on my shoulder pads and on my vestment. And then we have skeleton hide on my pants over here. For belt, I just using dense foo for additional armor value. I can use something different, something more expensive. Same goes for here with Mark of Mogodran. It's 5% health, most survivability. For weapons, we have Purified Salt on both of them. And for helmet, we had rune stones here. What's important also, powders, right? The powders for the rings, it's Erota Gut Venom. You can get it from Ashes of Malmoth DLC, from Malmoth Resistance faction. And this one adding you, that's basically the best powder to put on any of your jewelries, depending on any build, I guess. You can switch depending on the build you play, and you can switch damage there, but it's adding your survivability, 17 defensive ability per powder. It's like 210 defensive ability overall. You basically want this as fast as possible. And weapon powders we're using here, the Dreeg Spine Dust. It's from a cult of Dreeg augment. So 55 acid damage plus and 250 health and some bleeding resistance on the both of weapons. Survivability damage increase. That's how we work. Is this all for gear? I think it's all for gear. So basically, the damage here was very good with the critical strikes, but the highest damage wasn't that great compared to my Calendar Tempest build. Alright, we have 26 physical resistance on this build. We have freeze resistance 30 from my phantasmal armor. I actually didn't mention it, but phantasmal armor is one of another thing for Nightblade that we level up to maximum here. Alright. The build have 80 stun resistance here, and this was the one that helped me fight in Mogodren quite a bit. Also, the Dorjin would put this Mogodren fights on YouTube also soon. And like I say, we died on this build quite a bit. Well, 40 deaths because we died like 20 deaths right now with fighting that create an entertainment. But before we have 20 something deaths, most of them happens early on when I was trying to my first ever take on straight away ultimate difficulty with any build, and we were struggling a little bit. You missing on the powders, you missing on the resistances. Because of the powders, you missing on defensive abilities and materials to craft. And there's some unfortunate deaths here and there happened. It is definitely not the build I would recommend for hardcore, for sure, unless you're like very confident in your player skills and you know what's kind of things doing damage, what things you need to avoid. But it's very solid build, like can do everything except, again, can kill that great on entertainment, but everything else I can kill with great success, basically. So yeah, the highest damage 185. My calendar tempest have 200 something k. So this is less than that acid modifier. For well, this is retaliation damage. We have some retaliation damage in this build. What we're interested in is modifier for acid and poison here. So it's like 28. 180%, and my poison modifier is 2900, 71% with 312 improved duration. Poison was really doing his doing his job with the celestial fights for sure. Right, most of the attributes here went into physique, but I did need some attribute to spend into my spirit. In fact, we have a bunch of things that give me some percentage to spirit, like this encounter here, because the leaf main horn requires 724 spirit to put here, so we did spend 20 attributes in spirit. We could like min-max this attribute right now using a potion, because we don't need all of those 20 attributes in the spirit. We get more than enough here, but yeah, whatever. Didn't done that. You guys can play it with it. So like I say, very solid build. I very greatly enjoy it, and this will be end of this build video. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much, chat, for joining. Yeah, don't forget to sub for a channel, for YouTube channel. Anyway.